Pablo says, hey guys, I'm still confused with correct structure for city pages post. Question one, for now, top of silo on my money site is broad category without local modifiers. If I need to cover 2 or more counties, I need to make each county like a separate silo, or county can go after broad topic and link back to the main silo topic. Example, oh, this is one of those questions. Site/Miami or site/appraiser Miami. Based on this question, how would posting should look like? Okay. Pablo, I can tell you this, I cover how I reconcile those odd issues. I've talked about this many times, and I cover this extensively in the mastermind. I can't do it here. I can give you a very high overview, like conceptual overview of it, but I can't get into the nitty gritty because it's something that I only cover in our mastermind. But I use tags for creating location-based silos in a WordPress website. Okay, so I use the category structure for my topical silos, but then I use tags in a very specific way to create my location-based silos so that there's no conflicts with URLs or trying to share location-based subcategories across topical silos, or vice versa, topical silos across location-based categories. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I think you're talking about the oddities that occur with the URL conflicts that occur when you try to use the same subcategory across multiple categories, because it's going to automatically append like a -2, -3 for each time you duplicate that subcategory into another category. WordPress is going to automatically append to it like a -2, -3 because it has to have another permalink. And if that's what you're talking about, I learned 2-3 years ago, probably 3 years ago now, to build silo structure for location-based silos using tags. And it's a specific hierarchy, the way that I stack those tags and everything else. That's as far as I can tell you right now. The other way to do it was if you were going to, because remember, if you're talking about complex silo structure, which you are in this case, right? Because you've got, topical silos, and then you want to go sub-silo from that, all right? So subcategories that you want to add additional content pages to, or even posts at that level, right? That can create some issues. That's why I recommend if you can get away with just doing a simple silo, then and using just the post name permalink structure, then you can stack, you can cross things, subcategories into other categories and things where the URL isn't going to be displayed, and it shows as just domain.com/the post slug at that level, and that's okay. But again, so I mean, if you can get away with that, then that's the way that I would do it. But again, I can't talk specific. I can't show you the structure of how to do tag-based location silos or location silos using tags here on Hump Day Hangouts. I could talk about it in the mastermind though. But if you understand tags and how to use tag pages in WordPress, you ought to be able to figure it out, is my point. So you want to comment on that at all, Marco?
The only comment that I'm going to make is that there are things that we reserve for our paid groups only. And it's not fair for us to give it away here in a free group if people are paying for it. People are paying for all this information. So you people who are here free, although we try to answer as much as possible, what you do have to understand is that there's some things that we can't answer, but we can answer them in the paid groups. That's just the way it is. It's the way we've always done it. We have given people nearly 6 years of free information, actionable information. People have built businesses from the information we give away for free. So imagine what we give away in the free groups.
Yeah, or the paid group, you mean? But yeah, so Pablo, just to go back to your URL question here, see what I was talking about here is if you take a look at how you've got URL 1 versus URL 2, my point is if you've got like appraiser is like one of your services, and if appraiser, I don't know what you're in real estate or what, but let's just say real estate, and so one of your categories is appraiser, and maybe one of them is home inspections, right? Or yeah, something like that, right? Let's just say appraiser and inspectors. Let's just use that just to show 2 different service categories. If you were to try to duplicate Miami, originally, if you set it up as a subcategory as appraiser, then if you tried to create Miami subcategory in the inspectors category or home inspector category or home inspections category, however you name it, then you would end up having that weird URL structure. That said, it doesn't really matter if you're using the post name permalink structure because you don't see it unless you're looking at source code anyways. So it's not a big deal. But again, it creates some conflicts that I just don't like to try to live with when I'm building the site. It's not real clean to me that way. That's why I like to use tags. Now, I don't know if that was specifically your question, but that's the way I interpreted it. So next, he says, based on this, what should posting look like? For each county, it should be the same topic or keyword, but content should be rewritten, including local modifiers. Yeah, I mean, that's what I do. That's why I have my blogger actually create, when we're doing keyword plus location specific content, my blogger just creates or curates a blog post that is targeting something very closely related to that topic. It doesn't always necessarily have to be 100%. Then, but she, because I have one blogger that handles all of this stuff for me now because she's really good at it. She will curate stories that are topically relevant, as well as something about the local area that, for the location modifier that we're targeting. And then there will be a paragraph at the bottom that has a strong call to action, and it has, a strong mention of the product or the services that would pertain to what the theme of the post was about. So my point is, like, for example, most of the tree clients I have don't do landscaping work. However, landscaping is closely related to tree service stuff, right? And so because of that, a lot of times there will be blog posts that are written about a yard or keeping somebody's home's landscape beautiful or whatever. And then there will be a paragraph at the bottom about, tree services, tree trimming, tree pruning, whatever, that will kind of tie that concept to the landscaping, right? And then we just optimize the SEO title for it, and then use the tag-based silos and all of that. And it works really, really well, especially when you use the the SEO shield in the G site, and you learn how to push keyword relevancy through backlink profile to your G site. So that's what I do. And so all of the content is unique because all of the blog posts, each blog post is unique because it's newly curated content from my blogger, which is why I like it, because it's not, one of the problems, and I'm sure you are aware of this, Pablo, is when you only have a few services, how do you keep rewriting about that same service over and over and over again, right? It gets to be very difficult to do so. And that's why I kind of got away from trying to do it that way. And I just let my blogger kind of run away with it. And it creates over time, it might take a little bit more time to get the traction that I like. But once you do, you have this kind of broad width of topical relevancy to what your primary services are, if that makes sense. So that's what I do. If you don't have that ability yet for curating posts and that kind of stuff, then you can just rewrite stuff. I've talked about having like one article written about tree removal in my case, right? And then having that rewritten by 5 different as a rewrite project, as opposed to a new writing project. It's a lot less expensive. And now I've got 6 versions of the original article. And so that's something that you could use if you're going to be reproducing keyword plus location across multiple locations. Does that make sense? I don't know if that really was clear or not. Do you have any other tricks for that?
No.
Okay.